What's up, world? Welcome to the Positive Truth, uplifting and positive news for a more progressive society. Tim, what are we trying to bring?
Here at the Positive Truth, we're trying to bring awareness, empowerment, inspiration, optimism, and understanding to communities everywhere.
I'm JP, that's Tim.
Yeah.
This is the Positive Truth Podcast, where we talk about uplifting and positive news to fight back the fear, fight back the hate, and bring communities and people together. Tim, how are you?
Doing great, sir. How are you?
Doing wonderful.
I'm ready. I'm wired. I'm focused. I'm anxious. Let's do this.
Okay, absolutely. We're continuing our 2019, idea of doing inspirational stories on Mondays, as well as interviews. So we got another inspirational story I want to tell you, Tim.
I'm excited.
Before we get to that, though, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend about us. It helps us out so much. Spread this positivity that we're trying to bring. We also have a Facebook,
Indeed.
a Twitter, an Instagram, and a YouTube page you can follow all underneath. And go tell a friend. Yeah, well, let's get to it, Tim.
Yeah.
Last week I did the inspirational Iron Man. Now I'm doing an inspirational story about a man named Lin Wang and Charles Barkley. Do you know who those two people are?
Charles Barkley. I have no idea who Mr. Wang is, but Charles Barkley, small forward, the little big man, monster that he was, TNT analyst. Yeah, the funny man.
Pretty sure he was a power forward.
He's power forward?
I mean, he is short.
Yeah, I just assume small forward because
he's 6'5".
Yeah, but I think he was a power forward. You're right. You're the basketball guru. I'm not gonna argue with you with him.
So the story starts in 2015, June 2015. Charles Barkley's mother passed away, and everyone came to Leeds, Alabama, to pay respect.
Right.
And it was one person that stood out. It was this guy, a little shorter than most of the basketball players there. Asian guy in a red polo, some khaki shorts tucked in. And they're like, who is this guy? And Barkley's all, yeah, that's my man Lin. So the story starts there, because everyone was like, who is this guy? And Lin and Barkley were good friends. So Lin Wang, he's a chemist. He worked...
How does Charles Barkley know a chemist?
We're getting there. So Lin had a son and a daughter. And his daughter, Lin would always tell stories. She used a Chinese word in the story that I'm not going to do because I can't say it. But it was basically English for BSing. So Lin would always tell stories of her holidays. Like, yeah, I have a friend named Charles Barkley. And Lin, she was like, who is that? So she Googled it and was like, you don't actually know this person.
Right.
So Lin pulled up his text messages. It's right here. It's like, oh yeah, happy birthday, Charles, blah, blah, blah. It's like, he's not actually responding to you, right?
Right.
And she's like, oh, he's a busy guy. He's a busy guy. It's like, so they thought he met some random Charles Barkley.
Right.
He was just sending these text messages out. Flash forward to 2016, and Lin found out he had cancer.
Oh, man.
He's a big basketball fan, so, he was doing his thing. He didn't really tell anyone. And in June 2018, he was getting his cancer treatments. He couldn't watch the game. But his daughter was there telling him the stories about, how JR let the clock run out.
Oh, yeah. Good old J.R. Smith.
And so he died a few days later after the finals ended in Game 4. He died after Game 1, and the funeral was after Game 4.
Oh, man.
So she pulled out his phone and sent, hey, I'm sorry, my dad's died. Funeral is here. After Game 4, everyone goes to the funeral. They look behind and they see Charles Barkley show up. And no one actually believed, oh, Lin actually knew this guy. And that's when Barkley tells the story. So Lin would do business trips. And one time he was doing a business trip and he sat at a bar. And the only people in the bar was a bartender, him, and Charles Barkley. So Lin knew who he was, and Barkley, Lin says Barkley had a big personality. Barkley was just talking.
Right.
So, Lin started talking. They talked for 2 hours. And then Barkley was like, hey, I'm hungry. You hungry? They went and got dinner, right?
Nice.
They went and got dinner, and then they started hanging out. And so after they hung out, Barkley was like, hey, if you're ever in, Arizona or Atlanta, Alabama, let me know. If I'm in there, we'll go hang out. So Lynn would always text him, and they would always go hang out. Lynn actually got to go to the inside the NBA, meet all the guys. They got pictures, of course,
With Shaq. Okay, I see.
and him on the set. But no one actually believed him,
Right.
and his family. So then whenever Barkley showed up, like, he texted Barkley. Barkley texted him. He's like, "Hey man, I haven't heard from you in a while." I was like, "Oh, I got cancer." He's like, "Yo, you're my friend. Like, why didn't you tell me about this?" So when he showed up, he gave a little speech, and he's like, "I know about every one of you all." Because I could tell Lynn was a fan, but we never actually talked about basketball. We talked about being a family. We talked about our families. He talked about you. He talked about your brother. I know everything about all you all. Because Lynn always believed, he's like, if I did hard work, people would respect me.
Right.
So he would always tell him about how Barkley was telling at the funeral, like, yeah, your dad inspired people. People looked up to him. He was a great friend to me. We always talked about all you all. I feel like I know you all. Your father was just a great friend. That's why I wanted to hang out with him.
What an amazing gift.
Absolutely. And I'm going to link the article in the description about him talking like that. He's like, listen, as an adult, that's what he said. You're too young to understand this now, but all you want is for your kids to be happy. That's what you work for, to give your kids everything in life. And that's what your father wanted. That's what I wanted. That's why we related. That's why we were such good friends. We never actually talked about basketball. We just talked. He was just a good guy.
Right.
And wanted the best for others and his family. And that's why we always hung out. And I just thought it was an inspirational story because it's like, I knew you'd like it.
Of course. That's awesome. Like, I mean,
because you're the new dad.
Of course.
And it just shows you how that feeling of connection brings people together.
Absolutely.
Now, Lynn also did other things. You know, he had a PhD. He was an immigrant. He was actually a chemist for cat litter.
Ah, that's interesting.
Like, he made it, you know, he worked to make it better so that your house wouldn't smell with cat litter. But he was thoughtful. Everyone trusted him for advice. And Barkley was like, man, like, your family has to keep in touch with me because I felt like he was just a great friend, and I feel like you are a family as well. Sometimes the smallest things go a long way.
Absolutely.
Like, and in this time of, like, everyone's so polarized, there's always all these things keeping us together, and we have to remember it. So that's why I like this story.
I liked it a lot, man. I'm just like, wow, in awe a little bit. Because Charles Barkley, I mean, being the person that he is, everybody knows who he is. So for you to say you're his friend and nobody has a picture with you with him, nobody's going to believe it. So the fact that Charles Barkley took the time, went to this funeral and spoke at it as well, like you said, it's in the link. The YouTube video is there. I think that's beautiful. I think it's wonderful, and especially the message that he was trying to give across, you know, about working for your children. You know, this is what we had in common. And as a father, I can definitely relate. You know, when I talk to other fathers as well, that's what they're trying to do, work hard for their children so their children can have better than what they had.
So, yeah, that was an awesome little news story to inspire people to just remember what it's all about.
I agree, man. I agree 100%. That's all I got, though. That's all you got. That's all we got.
Hopefully the story inspired you to remember, you know, what it's all really about. We'll be back Wednesday and Friday with more positive news stories. But you know what we're not out of?
Positive quotes. I got some by Bob Marley. Let's do this for a little bit.
Favorite Bob Marley song, go.
Man, I have no clue what any of his songs are named. I could, like, listen to some Bob Marley, though, I guess.
Okay.
That one from I Am Legend with, you know, Will Smith. He played one in there. I can't remember what it was called.
No, I don't see movies.
Oh, man, what am I doing, Tim? It's 2019. Get it together. But some people feel the rain. Others just get wet. Bob Marley. I like it.
I have no beef with it.
Well, on that note, JP.
We're out.
Stay positive.